Okay, we're here. We're here. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the big show. It's Bruce here with Traveling with Bruce. Welcome to the channel this week. It is Monday, April the 22nd. We're live from Palm Desert, California. Great to have you here. Hope you're doing well out there. Hope you had a good week and enjoyed company with friends and what have you. I missed you last week. I was not doing too well last. A little tired. I wasn't like terribly ill, but I was pretty tired. And I decided rather than try and do two shows back to back on this channel, probably be a lot better if I just rested. And I was asleep early last Monday. I'll tell you that, and I needed it. So thank you to those of you who sent me messages and saying hi to me and get better soon. Appreciate you all. Really, it was nice of you to do that. I caught those the next morning on the Tuesday morning. I noticed all these messages had come in from a number of you telling me you should take more time off. You're working too hard. Thank you all. It's not that I'm working incredibly hard on this channel. Obviously, those of you who are regulars, you know that I really am not putting much on this channel as far as content goes. I'm here Monday nights now doing this live gig, but the next series of videos that'll come off of this channel will be the next trip that Jen and I will be taking. And that is being formulated every week now because Jennifer has two, not one, but two brand new hips. And she's doing very, very well. She's virtually pain-free in her hip area now. The only issue that she has left is her right knee. And that was because that knee was compensating for a lot of her hip problems over the last number of years. And so we need to just get her hip injection, which will be done probably when we get back home in about 6 weeks from now. That'll be done, and she should be pain-free for quite some time. And we don't know if she needs to get her hip or her knee replaced or not. We weren't sure about her hip last year, the one she did this year. We weren't sure last year. We found out, yes, we have to get that one done. And so great, all is well. Now the question is, with the two new hips and with her walking perfectly straight and with her doing her exercises and doing her physiotherapy work and improving her posture and building her endurance, will the knee actually be less stressed going forward? Most of the people she talks to at the hospital in physio area saying yes, there will be strengthening. You will get a stronger knee and leg because of this. The question is, will the pain be less, or will just an injection every 6 months be enough? No need to replace the knee. We don't know. We'll find out as the summer progresses. Hopefully, we'll be okay, and we'll do a trip this summer, and hopefully, we'll do a trip next winter. Hopefully to Australia and New Zealand, which is kind of what we're looking for. But we'll let you know. And so this channel's activity level sort of depends on Auntie Jen's condition. How is she coming along, and how is her how is her ability to travel? Because when we're here in Palm Desert, we're not really traveling. We are theoretically not in Calgary. We're here for the winter, but we're just hanging out. We go to the grocery store, we go to Costco, we go to Trader Joe's, we go to In-N-Out Burger. We're just hanging out like desert locals. We're not doing a bunch of side trips and exploratory trips around here. We've seen it all. We know this area very well. We really enjoy it. So what do we do now? The next trip we hope will be this summer, and then in the winter following up with that. So stay tuned. We'll see if we can get this channel a lot more active than it has been. I thank you all for being around. Thank you for popping in and saying hi. Robert is saying hello. He'll be with us next week. He's not doing too well today. Sharon is here. Long time no see too. Ken Correcta from Saginaw, Michigan. Ken and Janet are here. Saginaw, 59 degrees with high clouds. Bought regular gas for $3.41. Good evening, everybody. The number 4 thumbs uppers have come in. Thank you for these thumbs ups, everybody. I cannot thank you guys enough. As the week goes by, I get these alerts that you folks will hit the thumbs up button. You'll send a little message saying, I'm thumbs up number 28, I'm thumbs up number 47, I'm thumbs up 82. I get those, and I really appreciate it to see how this little channel still generates about 100 thumbs ups every live show. It's unbelievable. It's really great. Thank you. Feeling a lot better, Sharon. Definitely. Ms. M, hello, everybody, all over again. Last week, Kevin, I saw the Islanders clinch their playoff spot against the Devils in Newark. Tonight, we have the playoff game on television. I just noticed it was 0-0 last I saw. Kirk Brunson's YouTube, Facebook channel. Hi, Bruce and TWB family. Kirk from New York City is here, and I'm at work right now. Sharon, oh no, I hope Jen doesn't need a new knee. Kirk, number 10, thumbs up. Alan Carter, number... what's it, 152? I'm not sure what this means. I think you're number 15, maybe. Thank you. Thank you for being here, Alan, and thank you all of you who are here tonight from wherever you're watching me from. Say hi if you like. Tell me what your temperature is going to be where you are, and let me know how you're doing. Are any of you going on a cruise in the near future? Let us know. I'm curious about one thing tonight. I have a story that I want to talk to you about. It's regarding an inaugural cruise. Has anyone ever been on an inaugural cruise in your lifetimes? Have any of you ever been on the first time cruise of a ship or a series of inaugural cruises? And if you were, did they give you any kind of inaugural goodies? Did you get any kind of a fridge magnet or something, or did you get a T-shirt or a hat or a ballpoint pen saying inaugural cruise of the whatever ship? I don't know what they do nowadays. What do cruise lines do for inaugural cruises? Are they handing out goodie bag stuff for passengers that book an inaugural cruise nowadays? I don't know. So if any of you have ever been on one, or you know someone that's been on an inaugural cruise, give me a shout out and let me know if you what that's all about. I know that way back when. I mean, I'm going back into the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s. A first time cruise for an ocean liner was a big, big deal. It was a national event because back in the 50s, when huge ocean liners would be launched from an Italian cruise line, a French cruise line, UK, the US, this would be a national thing to celebrate. It would really be, you'd have the equivalent of kings and queens and prime ministers coming out to hit the bottle of champagne on the side of the ship and watch her go down into the water. Nowadays, it's not as infrequent as it once was. Nowadays, it seems like every month or two, there's a new ship coming out from somebody somewhere. And we seem to be getting these inaugural cruises that aren't one cruise. They seem to be 5 or 10. The first 5 or 10 cruises are inaugural cruises. It's not even a big deal anymore as it once was. I have a feeling, though, that inaugural cruises still cost more than to book a cruise like a year later on that ship. I would imagine the first few months is a premium pricing on these. But there are folks out there who love to do these inaugural events, and they like to be part of the first timers. Of course, back in the 50s and 60s, if you had an ocean liner being launched, it wouldn't be the first of 6 identical ships coming off a shipyard. I mean, to launch the Queen Elizabeth ship or the France or the Norway or whatever, the SS Norway, the SS France. I mean, these ships were one-offs, and they were national pride kind of vessels that promoted the country. Sometimes, in the case of the USS United States, that ship was backed by military money because the hull design was unique to that kind of size ship. And the behind the scenes discussions were that this ship, the USS United States, could become a troop carrier in the case of worldwide conflict, like the Second World War, but that because the hull design was so unique that ship set the ocean crossing record across the Atlantic on its first inaugural cruise, and it won the blue ribbon. And so that ship was sponsored partially by U.S. military research money to get it built in a certain specification. And the ship, of course, was never needed and never used for a military conflict. It set sail, I believe the USS United States launched in about 1950-51, about 5 years, 6 years after the Second World War, which, of course, at that time, the Korean conflict, as we call it, was underway. The Vietnam thing really didn't become a big issue until 64, 65. And by that point in time, the USS United States was nearing the end of its commercial days, because as of 1959 and thereafter, you could now cross the Atlantic Ocean on a jet plane. 707s came out, and these planes would take New Yorkers to London in 6.5 hours, as opposed to 4 or 5 days of Atlantic travel. And so that changed everything. As soon as airfares started coming down, because these planes came off the production line one after the other out of Boeing and others, these jetliners began to dominate the skies. And by 1961-62, the cost of jet airfare across the Atlantic plummeted in price. And that was the death knell for ocean liner existence. And of course, the Queen Elizabeth, the original Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mary, and the other big 1,800 to 2,200 passenger cruise ships or ocean liners were put out of business because they were handling thousands of crew members with maybe 1,500 passengers, way too many people. You had to feed everybody on board these ships, 24/7 air conditioning, heat, you name it. I mean, the cost of running a ship across the Atlantic just became so expensive on a per passenger basis, they could not compete with the airlines. The airlines were getting 2 flights a day out of these planes, easily 2 flights a day. And not only did they have passengers on board in their passenger compartment, these airlines had baggage underneath. They had cargo underneath the belly of the plane for fast airmail delivery and priority package delivery. Serious money, way more money than the passengers were paying. They were getting in the belly of the plane as well. And so this did in the boats. The ships were done for, and we had a massive change. Anyway, so if any of you have ever been on an inaugural cruise, do let me know. I'd be curious, what kind of events did they have? Did they have special celebrations? Anything like that? Roger is in the house. Good morning or good evening from Jacksonville. Hello there, sir. Nice to have you here, Roger. We've got Larry Blake, number 12, number 12 and it's 48 degrees in Atlantic City. Welcome, Larry. Roger, sailing on Celebrity Apex on Saturday. Right on, man. Nice ship. Roger, first celebrity cruise since 2017. Right on. Kirk Brunson, looking to sail on the MSC World America when it launches, coming to the U.S. I read something about MSC pulling out. I read an article that said something like this was a sensational plan by MSC, that they had come up with a real bombshell of a thing to compete with Royal Caribbean and to compete with Carnival. And I thought, what on earth is this all about? And I read this article, and I wasn't going to mention it, but since I see this, I thought I would now. The secret weapon, they're going to launch 4 and 5 day cruises. That's all. You may have heard already, I know I mentioned it a while ago, that Royal Caribbean is now launching 3, 4, 5 day cruises out of select Florida ports. And this will include sort of a sea day out of Miami, maybe a stop in Nassau for 1 day, and then another sea day or a trip to Coco Key, which is their private private island. And the beauty of these 3 and 4 day cruises for Royal Caribbean is they happen to have the Coco Key Island just 90 miles from America, 120 miles. It's very short. And you stop in Nassau, you stop at the Coco Key, you have a sea day, and you got yourself a 3 4 day cruise. And so passengers are fed for the 3 4 nights. They're housed, they're drinking, they're partying, they're gambling on the casino, they're getting massages or whatever they're doing. And then on shore on the island that they own, that Royal Caribbean has access to, every dollar spent on the island at Coco Key is Royal Caribbean income coming in, which is handy as can be. So that's ship line, cruise line income. They don't have to share that with anybody. And if they do take you to Nassau, for example, well, for now, you can book excursions from the cruise line and, they get a cut of that. But you may have noticed that over at Royal Caribbean, they're building now a beach getaway area on Paradise Island. So you're going to be able to grab a bus from the ship inside this port facility that Nassau has built to cut you off from the hucksters and hustlers of downtown Nassau. They can't get at you now. You get on these buses, they take you straight to Paradise Island, straight into the gated beach club that they're building now. That'll be ready next year. And they will, whatever you buy there is Royal Caribbean action, mostly Royal Caribbean money, with Bahamian employees. No problem there. And security and all that. And then after your 4, 5, 6 hours, you get back on the bus and you come back to the port facility and you can walk about there and then head on to your ship. No hassle in downtown Nassau. No pickpockets. No, folks trying to sell you a used watch or anything like that. So that's coming. And so for Royal Caribbean, that's a smart move. You tie up your customer from the beginning of the trip to the end of the trip. All the money spent is Royal Caribbean destined. MSC has figured out, hey, we should do the same kind of thing. Number one, not only is this keeping your client, captured, because MSC has their own island that they're redeveloping right now. The other thing that they're doing is they're figuring out that the guys at Royal Caribbean, they're not traveling very far. They're taking these big cruise ships that would just gobble up huge amounts of fuel to go 2,000 miles in a week or 10 days. These guys are going 500 miles. They're spending more fuel just cruising at 8 knots to 10 knots in international waters in circles while you're gambling away at the casino every night and buying drinks and partying up and everything else. At the end of the cruise, the ship has gone 7, 8, 900 miles instead of 2,000, 3,000 miles. Used way less fuel, way less wear and tear on the engines and on the rudders and all this stuff. And during the day, it's at a private island where you're spending your money. Smart move. So MSC is doing exactly the same thing. And the story goes that they're probably going to use some of their bigger ships to do this with, so that they can go after 4,000 and 5,000 passengers every 3 to 4 days to lock them up for 3 4 days on MSC property only. The days of these exotic, once in a lifetime cruises to faraway destinations in the mysterious Caribbean, those are over. My parents were probably some of the last people to enjoy that kind of a thing where you were the only cruise ship in port. Today, you come into Antigua, you come into Barbados, you come into Costa Maya, you come into Falmouth or some of the other ports in Jamaica, Cayman Islands. You might be one of 2, 3, 4 ships coming in for the day, which, per ship, 3, 4, 5,000 passengers each one. We're talking 10, 12, 15, 20,000 tourists, all cruisers, all in for 6, 8 hours each. Mayhem in the beginning, mayhem at the end. Not an exotic get away from it all kind of vacation anymore. It's high volume turnover business. And to kind of add a little more to this, obviously, if you're going to go to Coco Key can handle at least two uh, gigantic cruise ships at a time. There could be 12,000 people on the island. That island is being expanded. The water park is going to be bigger. There's going to be more beach areas, going to be more cabanas, more private getaway areas. Dollars, serious dollars. Disney's building their new island, a second island. Carnival just announced a redo of their latest their island. Same with Norwegian. It's expanding, 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 but it is not becoming more exclusive. It's going to become it's going to be expanded to handle more volume of people. So the cruising business is not becoming an exclusive getaway place anymore for two romantic people to get away for a week. You're now talking about hanging out with thousands of others on a high volume basis now going forward. That's the name of the game. All right, Sharon, I'm going to ask your indulgence because Kevin and I were celebrating a goal. Did you say MSC might be leaving the Brooklyn port? No, they're not leaving the Brooklyn port whatsoever. No, they're going to do what Royal Caribbean has already announced what they're up to, and have started to do already, and that is. MSC was only offering 7-day cruises mostly out of mainly Florida ports. Whatever they're doing out of New York is a different thing. No changes in New York that I'm aware of. No, the changes are to start offering 3, 4, and 5-day cruises. MSC has not done that in North America. Now, in Europe, you can get on a ship in Genoa, and you can get off that ship in Barcelona. You can get on a ship in Palermo and get off the ship in Naples. If that ship has 5 or 6 stops, no sea days, you can hop on, hop off. So you can start and end your cruise in Palermo, start or end your cruise in Genoa, start or end your cruise in Barcelona. And I would imagine that in Europe, you can probably buy a 4 or 5-day cruise package from MSC through travel agents that will give you a 3, 4 night experience in the Mediterranean. Because they're doing drop-offs, pickups and drop-offs every day at every port they're coming to. Whereas in America, you start your cruise in Miami, you end your cruise in Miami. You start in Fort Lauderdale, you end in Fort Lauderdale. Now with 3 and 4-day cruises, I could see people doing back-to-back 4-day cruises, or I could see them doing a 3-day cruise on one ship and a 4-day cruise on another ship with a day in between perhaps. There might be a bunch of that going on. I don't know. We'll see. It's also another way to lower the gross cost of the experience, but raise the daily take from people on board these ships. If you're only offering 3 nights accommodation, the people are in a hurry to party. They're in a hurry to enjoy themselves. They're in a hurry to gamble on the cruise ship. They don't have a week to gamble. They have 3 nights to gamble. That might encourage more looser behavior. Just guessing. I'm just guessing. I can imagine that, you can do 3 nights of excursion, like 3 days of excursions, but not 5 in a row. But you can do 3 in a row. And this way, the cruise line is getting you on an excursion experience every day of your cruise times thousands of passengers. It's becoming a high volume thing. I'm curious about that. Sharon, laugh out loud, another goal celebration, but did I hear you say MSC isn't leaving Brooklyn? They're not leaving Brooklyn. Not that I'm aware. All right. So talking about the inaugural cruise thing, the reason I'm asking about the inaugural cruise is there's a story out about Princess. The Princess Cruise Line, let me give you a shot here, a couple of photos. Princess Cruise Line is building ships now that look like this. This is the new, this is called, I believe they call this the Sphere class, Sphere, the Sphere class of ship from Princess Cruise Line. And that is a big departure from what ships used to look like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when Princess were bringing out their older ships. Well, the latest ship to be announced that's supposed to come out is the Star Princess. Now, the first ship that is already out there is known as the Sun Princess, if I believe. 177 gross tons, 177,000 gross tons, 17% more passengers, and 21% larger than previous versions of their ships. All right. And these ships have these phenomenal domes built right in the front here. So in the daytime, they look like this, and in the nighttime, they kind of look like that, although I have two different camera angles here. Very exotic. They've also now got the showrooms with these, in the round kind of a unit. I'm not sure if that room is at the very back of this ship on the lower level. I can't be sure if this is really, if that window is a real window or if that's just a screen. It might be just a screen. But the ship has come out with a lot of different looks. This is not the kind of a ship like Sapphire Princess or Ruby Princess or Regal Princess. These are not those kinds of ships. These are quite different. I mean, here's an artist rendition here and a computer rendition. Look at this thing. You can almost not tell the difference between this infinity pool and the ocean. And what a neat feature to have on the side of a cruise ship. Can you imagine? Could you imagine in the 1950s someone sketching something like this to show an ocean liner passenger in 1956? What cruise ships will look like in 2024. Here's a sketch of what you're going to look at. They'd look at this and lose their minds. They wouldn't be able to comprehend it. Look at this picture here. I mean, my goodness, is that spectacular? There's that infinity pool there at the back, and then you got these loungers in between, and then right in front of us here is the sunken little couch lounger. I mean, wow, these are pretty darn cool, wouldn't you say? Anyway, the story goes, by the way, here's a shot at the back of the ship, another infinity pool here. The story goes with Princess that the ship, the Star Princess, was supposed to be sailing in August for the cruise line. They were doing inaugural cruises for this 4,300 passenger cruise ship. And these cruises, there were like 10 of them they had to cancel because the ship is now delayed until October 2025. So if you know anyone that got all excited about going on one of their inaugural cruises, of which I guess 10 were called inaugurals, which, kind of weird. The second one is not inaugural. The first one is inaugural. We're talking now a couple of months delay until October. A number of sailings canceled. The first one now is going to be an 11-night cruise, October the 4th to 15th in the Mediterranean. And this is the second of, I think, 5 or 6 that they're going to build in this style. I'm pretty sure that each ship will be slightly different as they make slight modifications to these vessels as time goes by. But you can certainly see on this image here that they are targeting me, the 68-year-old guy, for all of my running around the ship, and also my strength exercises, and getting me up there on the top there doing all those rope things. And they're targeting me. You can certainly tell that, can't you? Here's an image of one of the nicer rooms that you can book eventually on this ship. I would imagine that the Sun Princess, which is now, I believe, sailing, some of the rooms look like this, and I'm sure there are YouTube videos showing how great they are. But the Star Princess, the number 2 ship, they got to screw up there. Unfortunately, they're saying that the Italian shipyard and the cruise line, they have come to the bitter reality that we cannot get this ship done on time. There is just no way. We have got logistical problems for supply chain issues that are affecting us even now. They're not COVID-related issues like before. Now we're talking Red Sea problems. We're talking other issues. And so now the ships are delayed. They're just being delayed. And I would not be surprised if you hear about this. If you hear about this more and more and more. Sharon's going, I like that running track. That looks pretty good. Ms. M, all I've heard about Inaugural Cruises is that the first few times they have to iron out a lot of issues, new staff, etc. I've heard that too, Miss M. I've had over the years since 2017 when I started this channel, people have told me I was on an inaugural cruise of so and so ship, and the cruise was a disaster. You know, the ship is beautiful, but and then I would get all the bugs, the glitches that they would be running into. Staff not organized yet because they're not into a full blown routine. They're not used to their stations. They're not used to all the functions of the ship. And then there would be other horror stories that would come out talking about how the cruise line would launch a ship. They call it, you know, an inaugural set of cruises, but the reality is that they're still building on board the ship. They're doing the the finery work, the last cosmetics of a ship, and so certain sections of the ship would be cut off from the public. You can't go there. You can't go there. It's closed off, and they're doing varnishing, or they're painting, or they're laying down the last of the carpeting, or you know, whatever the logistics are, electronic installations of speakers and lights, and the last of the wiring, and it's weeks. It's just weeks and weeks of delays, which were supposed to be done at the shipyard. Weren't done. I'm sure penalties are being paid by the contractor to the cruise line, but the cruise line has to launch. They got to get going. They've got 4,000 passengers a week for 10 weeks in a row. 40,000 tickets sold. They're not going to cancel a trip. If they can, if they can avoid it, they'll keep building while they go. Well, I was getting these comments all the time from people who were on these kinds of cruises. Interesting, isn't it? Kevin is in the house, the author himself. Hey, Bruce, late arrival tonight, watching hockey and working on adult book marketing. Summer's coming, baby. Thumb number 16. Thank you, Kevin, very much for thumbs up 16. Thank you for all of you who have hit the thumbs up button. If you're able to do it, please help us out. If you're watching on the rerun, if you're watching the show on the rerun, you can hit that thumbs up button. Let me know what number you are. Thank you all very much for doing that. It's much appreciated. Thank you, Kevin, and welcome to the show. I'm sorry it's boring. But you got to do what you got to do when you're a highfalutin author. You know, you got to do what you have to do to promote those books. 16 thumbs ups and counting. Thank you all very, very much. It's appreciated. All right, the other bit of news I found today, it's been under construction for a while, but it's finally now officially being released, and that is that the Viking Cruise Line Company, I guess the mother corporation is called Viking Cruises. So they have riverboats, they have ocean liners, they have a Mississippi ship or two, and now Arctic and Antarctic Great Lakes ships as well. Viking is going public. They're going to become a publicly traded corporation. So Viking will no longer be just a privately held family corporation. They have been, since COVID, they have been raising money to diversify their finances and build their finances. And one of their investors that owns more than 5% of the company is the Government of Canada pension plan. Every Canadian citizen in Canada that is part of the Canada pension plan is a part owner of Viking Cruises. And Viking has been doing what all the other cruise lines have had to do. They have had to raise money to survive the pandemic. They've had to raise capital to pay for ships that they had ordered 5-6 years ago as they come out and get delivered, and keep operations going. And so I'm pretty certain that Viking has definitely raised money through bond issuances. already through Wall Street, but they've also had the actual family that owns this company has probably put up a lot of their personal fortune to fund this company and get this company to where it is. Viking now is a company with founded in 1997, by the way, founded now with 92 vessels. There are 92 Viking ships out there, 10,000 plus employees. They operate in 90 countries. They travel and sail to 90 countries. And in 2023, last year, their revenues were $4.7 billion. $4.7 billion in gross revenues in 2023. And that number is climbing because they're adding ships. They keep adding ships and getting larger. And so you've got these various styles. Here's one of the Arctic versions. Here's the Mississippi ship, the one that plies the Mississippi River. Again, a very different version of a cruise ship. Here's I think the back of that particular ship, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Viking is known for 6-star quality. They pride themselves on delivering a very high-end product. They can sail you on an ocean cruise. They can get you on a cruise here to Europe, right into Paris. Where do you want to go? They're going to raise from the public total proceeds of over $1.1 billion when they do list or issue their shares. This should be in the next 30 days. Apparently, between $21 and $25 a share will be the price of the shares to the public. And they're talking about 44 million shares to be sold to the public. Now, 11 million of the 44 million shares will be sold from the company's own treasury. And that money, anywhere from 230 million to 275 million approximately, will definitely end up in the corporate coffers of Viking. 33 million shares that are going to be issued. They're going to be issued by the family of the founder, the CEO Torsten Hagen, and the Canada Pension Plan. Apparently, between the two, there's rumors that the 33 million shares will be divvied up, and some of those shares will come from each of these parties, which will allow Torsten Hagen to do some family planning, financial planning, because I suspect that his entire family's wealth is tied up in the cruise line, and this will get some of the capital out. For the Canada Pension Plan, I believe they bought a bunch of stock during COVID, knowing that the plan was for the company to eventually go public, and then the pension plan would be able to cash out some of their shares. Now, I don't know if they're selling all of their shares, part of their shares. I don't know if the government of Canada is how much money they're making on this arrangement, but my guess is that the government of Canada pension plan would have paid less than half the value of the stock that is going to be sold. So if they're going to sell 10 million shares at $25 each, they're going to get $250 million. Maybe the pension plan bought the stock for $125 million 5 or 6 years ago. I really don't know. That will come out later in filings once we hear all of that. The value of Viking, when you take all of the company and all the shares that will exist, of which there will be 431 million shares in existence, 44 million in the hands of the public, which is just barely over 10%. The rest of the company will be owned by the Canada Pension Plan and with the family with Torsten Hagen. Torsten Hagen will control in excess of 87% of all the votes for all the voting shares. So total control will remain with the existing management of the company. But the value of the corporation, if you take all of the stock outstanding and they come out at 25 a share, the capital value of the corporation will be just under $11 billion, 10.8 billion dollars in value for the company. And of course, the company being founded in 97, they took delivery of their first cruise ships, which would have been riverboat cruise ships. The riverboat ones would have been coming out after 97, 98, through the 2000s and all the way along to even today. And the ocean ships started coming out, I think, in '09, something like that. So they're approaching 12 to 15 years of age, and they're still delivering them, still building them out. And now, of course, we've got these Great Lake versions and these Arctic version ships being built as well. And so the company is picking a good time to go public. Cruising is back. Cruising is extremely popular again. Passengers around the world want to get on a cruise ship and check out scenes like this or scenes like that. I'm going to guess that this is a real photo and this is a touched up photo. What do you think? Do you think that's real, or do you think that is artist computer generated or enhanced? What are your thoughts on that? Yeah, I'm wondering. That might be a real shot right there. Flags in the wind and so on. People on board the deck. That might be computer generated. That probably computer generated. I think that's a real shot. That's not pretty enough to be computer generated, but you can see some of the decks there. There's a real shot right there, Paris. Here's a computer-generated picture of the Polaris, and I'm not sure if this is real or not. It might be real, taken from another ship or from a drone. But that's the Octavius cruise ship there, and then here's a real picture here of three of them. Really nicely done. Here's a beautiful photo here. And of course, this photo here is, we've seen this before, a beautiful shot of Vikings ships going different places around the world, including right here on these various rivers. Phenomenal company. And congratulations to Viking. They should be a publicly traded company probably in about a month from now, between now and a month from now. I'm pretty sure that these shares will be no problem to sell. They make money. They're a profitable corporation. And if they need to raise additional cash, they'll do it through bond issuances. But now they have a new weapon. They can now go to the bond market and they can say to the bond market, we'd like to raise, let's say, $1 billion. And we're going to use that money to build another ship or two or three river boats, general corporate purposes, whatever. We're going to refurbish 3 or 4 ships at $200 million apiece, but we can now offer bonds that also can convert into common stock because they're now a publicly traded corporation. So now Viking can offer convertible bonds that are convertible into shares. So they could go back to the Canada Pension Fund and they can say, all right, guys, you sold your stock, you made a nice little buck there. If you're interested, the next time we do an offering of bonds, we might offer convertible bonds where for 5 years you'll get interest on your money. And then at the end of 5 years, at your choice, or depending on how well the shares do, we can convert your debt into stock and you can then sell the stock in the company if you wish. And that way the company eliminates debt by issuing paper from the treasury. There's many ways to do that. And there's also a way, some way down the road, they might go out to 100 million shares in the public's hands. And someday they may want to reduce those numbers of shares. And they might do a convertible bond offering where they'll create what we call a cap call transaction, which is a bit complicated in the market, but it allows a company to issue bonds first, get money, pay interest on it, very low rate. And then in 3 years, they can take those bonds back and give shares to those guys instead and eliminate the interest payments. And those investors can do whatever they want with the stock. But the stock doesn't come from the treasury. The stock comes from existing shareholders where the company is making an call option arrangement with an underwriter. It's very complicated, but they end up acquiring stock on the open market. They gather it all up. They get enough stock together to then swap out debt for stock, and they don't issue any new stock to do it. Very interesting concepts on Wall Street. We talk about that on my other channel. I won't bore you with that today. Anyway, there's the story on Viking. Very, very interesting story. 480 million odd shares, 431 million shares outstanding, will be the number. 44 million in the hands of the public, 11 million from the Treasury, 33 million from existing shareholders, and the company will be adding 200 plus million in funding to its bottom line, cash flow, to use whatever they want for whatever they want. And now they can start raising money on a timely basis whenever they need to by issuing shares or convertible bonds down the road, like Carnival, like Royal Caribbean, like Norwegian have done so far. That leaves MSC as a privately held cruise line still out there. What will happen with MSC? And could it be that a year from now, within a year, 2 years, could it be that MSC makes a takeover offer for Norwegian and will absorb Norwegian as a wholly owned subsidiary, and Norwegian will issue shares from its treasury to the MSC people for all their stock, and since they are so much bigger, they will issue a lot of stock over to MSC, and with that, MSC takes over control of the entire corporation. And now you have a publicly traded MSC Norwegian company in one roof, and it might be MSC stock symbol, and a part of that company is Norwegian. That could happen. I don't know if it will, but I wonder, would Norwegian entertain something like that if they need 5 or 10 more billion dollars in cash in the next 3 years, 5 years, to refurbish and take delivery and bring out new ships? Can they do it, or will they need the deep pockets of MSC as a partner to do so? I don't know. When I know, you'll know, and we'll see what's going on. There's some cruise news for you. We'll see what happens. I found a couple of cruises I want to tell you about today. I'll mention that, and let's see what's going on here. We've got, I think, a troll. So, yeah, let's just do that. Someone doesn't want to really be here, really. Tommy Eaton, I was the 25th thumbs up. Thank you, Tommy, so much for being a part of this show and bringing in a thumbs up for us. And along with all the other 24 who have already hit the thumbs up button, thank you. I found a couple of cruise deals, and it's sort of, these deals are like from one extreme to another, and I'm talking dollars. Okay. The first cruise I found was a cruise on the Holland America Cruise Line, and it was on this ship right here, the new Statendam. I found a cruise on the new Statendam that starts in Athens and ends in Athens. So take a look at this. Look at this itinerary. Look at where the ship is going. Right in the middle in big bold print says Athens. And if you take a look right here, you can see on the Saturday, October the 5th, it leaves Athens. You have a sea day, and there's only 2 sea days on this cruise, by the way. This is a 14-night or 2 weeks. You end up in Valletta, Malta on the first night. So you go back to this map, you can see, I believe Malta is to the left under the island in Sicily there, under Sicily. Valletta. And from Valletta, you're heading over to La Goulette, Tunisia, then Palermo in Sicily, and Messina on the island of Sicily. So you can see here, far left is Goulette, and then back to Palermo and Messina, then through the Strait of Messina over to Greece. And now you end up with a sea day, and you're in Mykonos, Marmaris, Turkey, Ephesus, Turkey, Rhodes, Kos, Santorini, Greece, Suda Bay, and Athens. I mean, sea day, no more sea days, only 2, and off you go. The ship here is built in 2018, 99,500 tons, typical Holland America ship, 975 feet long, 115 wide, 2,600 passenger capacity. and 1,036 crew. And here's the cost of this cruise. I thought this was a good deal. You can grab this cruise for 14 nights, and you can see that an inside is $985. The ocean view $1,299. Look at the balcony, $1,639, and the suite $2,090. So only 300 and what is that, $80 more a person. You can go into a suite. I'd go right to that if I had the money. And 14 nights on a beautiful ship. Not a bad itinerary here. You get a little bit of Greece, a little bit of Italy, Tunisia, and then over to Greece again, and Turkey and everything else. Not a bad little trip on this ship right here. Here's the pool deck. This is the pool deck where you have a retractable roof. So even if you have any unsettled October weather, they just close the roof on it, and you've got those hot tubs there, and you've got the pool there, and the loungers, and the upper level, and enjoy. Absolutely fabulous. Of course, you're talking really nice meals and excellent service on any Holland America cruise. So definitely worth a good look-see there. All right. The next trip that I have, let me double check something here. Yes, right here. Okay. The next trip I've got is on this ship right here, the Seabourn Ovation. Now, I've talked about this ship before. We're talking 6-star luxury here. I believe Seabourn is owned by Carnival, if I'm not mistaken. I think this is a Carnival brand. We're talking about practically every room on board the ship is a balcony room. So we're talking, as nice as that, if you have the money. Very, very nice ship with just really nice places to relax and first class service, everything else. This particular ship was built in 2018. It's 40,000 tons, 690 feet long, 92 feet wide, 600 passengers. I believe the crew number is 450. It's a very high crew number. But check this cruise out. Look at this. I mean, look at the spaghetti that this ship is doing here. What a cruise. Oh, my God. But this is not 2 weeks. This is a 30-day cruise, beginning and ending in Barcelona. And so you're kind of coming and going a couple of times through Barcelona. Here is the itinerary, if you can read that. You leave July the 12th on Friday, and you end up in Menorca, Spain on Saturday. Sunday, you're in Palma de Mallorca. Monday, you have a sea day, one of the few. There's only like 4 of them. On Tuesday, you're in Setti, France. Then Wednesday, Cavalier-sur-Mer, France. Then Monte Carlo in Monaco. Oh, that would be a heck of a great day to be there. Portofino, Italy. Calvi, Corsica, France. Sardinia, Italy. Over to Rome. Let's take a look at the map again so we can check this out. So you can see from Barcelona, you're heading to the right. And you're working over to Sete. And then there's Cavalier-sur-Mer. Over to Monte Carlo. Portofino, over to whatever that spot is there. Is it Calvi, I said, and then Rome, which is Civitavecchia, Rome. And now you're going south from that area on the boot of Italy to the Amalfi Coast, Lipari, over to Valletta, which I believe, again, is Malta. Let me double check. Yeah, you're going Rome to Amalfi, Lipari, Magre, Malta to Valletta for a couple of nights, then to Trapani in Sicily, La Golette to Tunisia, and a sea day. So all the way over to Tunisia, La Golette at the bottom of the screen there, the bottom kind of 1/3 there, that pink land there. Then back up to the northern coast. It looks like you're heading back up sea day to La Ciotat, France. I can't pronounce that. Then to Spain, Rosa, Spain, Barcelona again. You're back to Barcelona. Now to Port Vendré, France. A sea day. Now to Malaga, Spain, Gibraltar, Casablanca, Morocco for 2 nights. A sea day, Cartagena, Spain, Valencia, and back to Barcelona. So now you're doing the Eastern Mediterranean, and you can see all the stops all the way over to Casablanca and back to Barcelona. What a cruise on what a ship. Pretty darn nice. You're talking July, we're talking hot, warm weather. You're talking getting some sun every day, resting, going on the shore, coming back onto here, getting a nap in your cabin if you like. Oh my gosh. Talk about nice. If you're doing this cruise, bring up some money now. Here we go. 30 nights, July the 12th, $20,000 for a suite or a balcony suite, 20,000. I believe they both have balconies. It's the same price. 20 grand for 30 nights. So $700 an evening per person. This does include drinks. By the way, let me go back to that. It includes gratuities, unlimited internet, and all alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages. There are no specialty restaurants. It's all included. There's no extra charge for any of this. There's only 300 cabins on the entire ship with a capacity of a maximum of 3 per person, but usually it's just 2, and no tipping expected. So, no tipping, no gratuity, no internet, no drinks, all included in this itinerary. So, take $150 a day off the top, I guess, with tipping and drinks and per person. Drinks have got to be, what is drink package? 50, $60 a night, a day, and then no specialty dining. And internet, there's 150, 175 a day. It's still 500 a night. I didn't find this cruise to show you a discount cruise. I'm showing you how nice gets. This is really nice, and it's super, super comfortable. Anyway, there you go. A little trip with a 30-day itinerary. Talk about catching all of the Mediterranean. I mean, come on. You're checking out certainly the western half of the Mediterranean. I mean, my goodness, from the boot over, pretty cool beans. Now, this first cruise, as I told you, this is covering more of the west with Turkey and Greece. But that is a bargain at $1,600 for 2 weeks. You double that, $3,200, $3,300 for 28 nights compared to $20,000. But of course, you will pay extra for this cruise. You will pay the $17 or $19 a person for tip charges. That is extra. You will pay drinks for more. You will pay for internet. You will pay for additional eating. But still, you're not gonna pay 10 grand for this cruise at all. Where on this cruise, it's $20,000. But you get as they say, you get what you pay for. But this is good value. This is exceptional value, exceptional service for what you're enjoying. So it's okay. It's all good. For those of you who are winning a lottery, or you've scored on a big sports bet or something like that, maybe that's for you. I don't know. I just thought I'd mention and show you those 2 cruises. Not too bad. Anyway, there you go. Anyway, that's the show tonight. I want to say thank you for hanging out with me tonight here for this show. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a great week this week. We'll keep you posted on how Jen and I are doing. We're in the last month of our stay here in the desert area. We've enjoyed it very much as usual. And as soon as we know an itinerary for our summer travels, you will be the first to know. And if it includes a cruise, and we hope it does, you'll know what, where, and when. And we might run into some of you. You never know. Thanks again for those of you who were able to and willing to leave us with a thumbs up tonight. I thank you very much. If you're watching on this show on the rerun and you're able to hit the thumbs up button, please consider that. 24 thumbs ups have come through now, and it's much appreciated. I thank you all so much for supporting this channel and catching up with me every once in a while and saying hi. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you here next Monday, the 29th of April, and we'll follow what's going on in the cruise world. In the meantime, take good care and hug someone you love a little longer next time. You never know when it's the last time. Thank you all so much. Best to all of you. We'll catch you next week. Take care and bye for now.